hopefully a shady place to park. Um, so I'm going to get my little talking points together here. Who is here? Let me see. I can't see because it's blue and I'm blue. I think it's NT. Thank you, NT. So what I'm going to talk about today is, and it's a bunch of different things, but I'm glad that I had somewhat of a printout to talk today. I'm going to see if I can get my phone just a little bit better on me here. Well, that's a little better in my car. But what I'm going to talk about today is, I did a short, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later. Oh, good morning. So this is Dove Honey, and she asked a question that I said I would address. Hi, Miss Paula, on my live. I told her, oh, and Julie's here. Thank you, Julie. So I did a short a day or two ago that I'm going to get into later in the live about how my monthly food budget is $88.80. And that's just for me, because I have a specialized diet that I use for my A1C and my cholesterol. So it doesn't count what my wife buys on food or anything like that for the dog. It's just me. But I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But this live is to talk about, let's see, we are going to talk about 2026, because I printed out just a little bit because I knew I'd be in my car and I wouldn't have my laptop handy. So we're going to talk about 2026 and 2027 is what I'm going to talk about this morning. And then I am going to get into my food budget, because I put that in here so that I could tell everybody what I buy and how nerdy I am. What happened was, Mary at Penny's Not Perfection, she's the woman on YouTube who sort of invented Transfer Tuesday. And so many people on YouTube do a Transfer Tuesday to pay off their debt and stuff. And so now after years and years of watching her, I am doing Transfer Tuesday, as you guys see in my community post. But what I want to talk about is my next 2 years of my life. I am going to be getting Social Security in the next couple of years. And so when I get there, what I want to do is I want to have a lot of my debt paid off, if not all. I want to, not counting my real estate, that's quite a bit, so we won't be paying that off in 2 years. But my point is, all I want for debt is real estate, and that's it. So that I can live off of my pension, which you all know is, I'm trying to learn to live on $900 a month. And we're going to see if we do it in this month of November. We are really going to see if we can live on less than $900 a month. And so, oh, hi, Mrs. Paula. I'm seeing comments in here. And Blessed Budgets by Abigail, thank you for coming. And so I am so happy that people are here. So what I'm doing is I am in my car, and I keep making these side trips and turning left, but I'm in my car heading for a weekend retreat. And so I'm going to be doing meditation at an abbey, where I'm going to be eating with the monks and doing different things to work on regenerating myself or rejuvenating. And so I'm on my way to that weekend retreat, but I did not want to cancel my live. So I said, I'm just going to do it from the car on my way to the retreat. So I had to pull over, and that's fine. That's fine. So anyway, I did not want to cancel this live, because my goal is consistency. Every single Friday, 10:15, I'm going to be here. Even if I'm traveling to go somewhere, except I think I'm going to Hawaii in January. So I will not be doing lives when I go to Hawaii, unless I do a live with this guy from The Source who is out of Hawaii. I might do a live with Doron. So let's get back to what it was I was talking about. And remember, type FIRE, just the words FIRE, in the chat, and it will put your channel name out there. Oh, is Q here? I didn't see Q. Hi, Q, if you're here. Um, so anyway, what I'm talking about in this live, and I'm going to get into, oh, thank you, hi, Q. I'm going to get into my plans for the next 2 years of my life because they are really shifting. You know, my thought process in life as I hit my mid 60s is different. I mentioned this before that I've been in the accumulation phase for many, many years. And now I'm in the wealth preservation phase, but I'm still accumulating. It's not that I'm just going to stop. Some people go into retirement and they have all this money in their 401k or wherever they have their money, and they just say, that's it. I'm just going to start drawing down that money for the rest of my life. And maybe I take 4% out, or they do the bucket strategy, that kind of thing. Well, I don't have that. What I want to do is when I take Social Security in a couple of years, and I am going to take it, when I get there, I want to invest my entire Social Security into the stock market. I don't want to spend it. I don't need the money to spend. I want the money to invest. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about. So because that's my plan, in order for me not to need the Social Security money for anything, I need to pay off my debts that I have. And we've talked about me paying off the debts that I have, which is some rentals that I bought this year, the down payment on those, plus credit card debt, right? Plus, I just bought a piece of land like a week or two ago. So, I am not going to spend any money buying anything in 2026. Now, having said that, I may buy one home. I may buy my forever retirement home. Who knows? We're going to see, because I just met a guy who said that I can get a VA loan because I'm a veteran at 0% down. And this was yesterday, so I'm going to talk to him next week. But I don't want a 0% down loan. See, I want to put down 50% so that my payments are very low. So if I buy a home, I may have to do some other things to shift my money around so that I have 50% of the price of that home to put that money down. I am just not into high payments anymore. I'm not into payments at all, to tell you the truth, but I am absolutely not into high payments. So if I can't put down 50%, probably not going to happen, meaning that I would have to do something with my real estate that I own in order to get the 50% down to put down on that new house, to put on the land. So that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother live. But the basic premise is that I pay off all of the money that I owe, right? However I can do it as fast as I can do it. Plus, save up a prudent reserve, which I've talked about before, which is I need money in case of an emergency with my rental properties. And so, and then Nightbot's there. If you type fire, please like and subscribe. Everybody double tap on the screen or something to hit that like button. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, because the next 2 years is going to be rapid fire. I am going to pay off debt. I am going to build an emergency fund, and I am going to get my rental properties cash flowing more, because the more they cash flow, the less I'm going to need from Social Security. Not that I need anything from Social Security now, and we did not get into my teaching income, which I will talk about now. So my streams of income are my pension, where I have $900 a month left over after my house is covered. That's all the household bills are covered. So that's $900 a month to live on. right? Or to pay down debt or whatever I'm going to use that money on. Food, gas, debt. After that, oh good, Mrs. Paula put in, oh good, she typed fire. Awesome. You guys have got to see her dishwashing diaries, right? And that's how much I love Mrs. Paula. I watch her wash dishes, and you can do that on YouTube, right? We will watch anything, and Mrs. Paula taught me that everything is content, right? So she taught me that. So I'll be out walking around, and I'll just whip out my phone and just start recording. I don't care what it is, you know. Hey, Elevated, how you doing? I am talking about, I'm on my way to a weekend retreat, so I'm in my car. But I'm talking about my plan for the next 2 years of my life, which is, you know, like I said, basically it's pay off debt and build an emergency fund. Now, because I'm going to take Social Security in a couple of years, and I want everything cleared up by then so that I can invest the entire Social Security paycheck, that means I've got a 2-year clock that's ticking. And that 2-year clock means you pay off all debt that I have, not counting real estate, because that's way too much. I mean, my rental properties I owe way too much on that. I couldn't pay that in 2 years. But the point is, that should be my only debt. When I walk into Social Security, I should not owe any money on anything. So that my streams of income are my teaching income, which is variable. We don't know, you know, how much that's going to be. It could increase, it could decrease. We don't know. But that is my teaching income. And of course I get the sniffles because I've got the AC going here. And so I've got my teaching income. I have my pension. I have my rental income. Those are my 3 streams of income, right? And my rental income, I'm hoping to refinance some properties if interest rates go down some more so that I increase cash flow. And also, I'm trying to simplify my life by moving my rentals all to one banking institution. Right now, I have them spread out between 3 different banks. So every month, I have to transfer money from one bank to another bank to another bank before the money comes out for the mortgages. And so I'm sort of getting old and I'm tired of doing that. So what I'd like to do is move them all to one banking institution, and that's the goal. By doing that, I can, 1, get a longer amortization, meaning that they stretch out my payments longer, which means lower payments, which means more cash flow right now. Now, the question is, what do you do with that more cash flow that's coming in? Well, once I get all of the debts paid off and I get my emergency fund built up, my prudent reserve for my business and for personal, I need 2. Then you take that extra cash flow and pay off the rentals, which increases your cash flow. So I'm flipping my money to bring me in more money. And so everything I do is to pay off the money that I owe someone to bring in more money to me. So by the time I get to Social Security in 2 years, oh, Money Mommy Getter is here. That Mommy Money Getter. Mommy Money Getter. There you go. Oh, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And so, thank you everybody for being here. Boy, these car chat lives going vertical are my best lives. I had one that I did a couple weeks ago, and it was really good. A lot of people were there. And so I may just have to come out and sit in my car and not just be in the house, you know, and doing horizontal lives. Doing vertical lives has somehow been better. I don't know what the deal is, but at any rate, what I'm talking about is my plan. And so I had it printed out here. And so, you know, retiring early, you know, I retired early without a plan. I did prepare for it, for 3 years or more before I retired. I practiced not living on my government income. And if you're going to do anything where you're planning to shift your expenses, practice living without whatever it is that you're getting ready to do. Don't just say, well, I'll just go all in on YouTube and I'll just quit my job and hopefully YouTube pays off. No, practice, get your YouTube income up. I have a lady that I've been watching, Budget Girl on YouTube. Been watching her for well over 10 years. And she started out, at $16,000 a year. She was making almost nothing, and now she has 2 rental properties and she's been promoted at her job at a university. So now her life is in a whole different spot. But my point is, she just hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I have been watching her for well over 10 years. And sometimes she goes away from YouTube and sometimes she comes back, but now she's back for now. So my point is, she has steady income from YouTube with her 100,000 subscribers. She's got merchandise. She has things in her store that you can buy. She has created another stream of income. Plus, she did house hacking where she bought a duplex. She lived in one half, and her boyfriend paid her half the rent in her half. Plus, she rented out the other half of the duplex. Now she's getting married, so I don't know what her and her boyfriend are going to do, or fiance are going to do now. But my point is, she did house hacking to the maximum. And then she bought another duplex and moved into that one. So she got a low interest rate and low down payment on the first duplex because it was her primary residence. She stayed in it long enough so that she could move out of that into another primary residence duplex. So now she has 2 duplexes. She's renting them both out. She's living in one half of one with her fiance. And this is how you build wealth. So she's doing that, but it took 10 years. And now she has 100,000 subscribers. Lakeside Laura is here. Thank you for coming in. And A Simple Family Life, thank you for coming in. Oh, you have, Laura. She said that she's heard that the algorithm likes verticals better for some reason. Well, I think, and this is only my second time doing a vertical in my car, and I was told a long time ago here on YouTube, let's say 6 months ago or longer, to do horizontal live. So I had to teach myself how to make the phone switch. Hi, A Simple Family Life. Thank you for being here. And so I think that I'm going vertical from now on. I've been doing the horizontal one for a while, and I think that I'm just going to go vertical. And I may just come and sit out in my car. I had to find a shady place here at the Walmart, with a tree covering me, so I'm not going to overheat in here. But I have the AC going, so I hope everybody doesn't hear my AC. But I was talking about one, my plan for the next 2 years, but also trying to stick to what I printed out here, which is talking about how to prepare for early retirement. And you don't just sort of jump off the cliff. I just quit my job one day. I just decided that was the straw that broke the camel's back. However, I had put enough of a base under me that I could take that leap of faith. And it was a leap of faith. I had lived on my teaching income, which was much higher than it is right now. Some years ago, 5 years ago or more, I was teaching at 4 colleges. I was teaching 10 classes at a time. They had me busy. I was working 12, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. They had me busy. And so I took a leap of faith and said, because my teaching income for the last couple of years has matched my federal government income, I could let the federal income go. Now, I knew that I'd eventually someday get a pension, but I said it's going to be 1.5 years before I get that pension. So I need to have faith that my teaching income is going to continue for the next year and a half. So it did. And then my pension kicked in, and I started buying more real estate. I only had a couple of properties at that time, but I started buying a lot more real estate, which has sucked up a lot of my teaching income money, getting that stuff stabilized. So just so you know, real estate is not you buy it and just make, tons of money immediately. It's you got to get that train up and running. And now I've got that train up and running. Yes, Lakeside Laura, I have a YouTube video in my playlist on Nightbot. It's about 10 or 15 minutes, get you up and running on Nightbot in 10 or 15 minutes. There's more advanced stuff that you can do that I don't know yet. But there's tons of more super advanced stuff you can do with Nightbot, but this is just the basics. I'll get you up to where I am, which is just to have something so that people can put their channels in the chat. Mommy Money Getter, did you type fire and get your channel in the chat? And you asked if I'm investing in the stock market. Yes. I just found this channel, Lisa J Stocks, and some of you know her, but she now has me more focused on diversifying from real estate into the stock market. So I only have very little in the stock market right now. However, most of my money that's in the stock market is in the retirement accounts at the 3 colleges where I teach. And so last year I was saving 70% of my income from teaching into the stock market in retirement accounts. Now I'm starting in a Vanguard brokerage account, and I have just over $3,000 at Vanguard. But thanks to Lisa J Stocks. Hey Doron in the source, I was talking about I won't go live unless I'm in Hawaii with you, because I won't be doing my regular Friday lives when I come over to Hawaii in January, which is a dream. Just so everybody knows, this is not, oh, he got money to go to Hawaii. No, it's a lifelong dream that I thought only rich people do. See, I didn't think, oh, Daryl can go to Hawaii. No, I thought, oh, all those rich people in the world can go to Hawaii, and someday I will be able to go. So live your dreams. That's what I'm trying to say. That's my point. And so yes, I am investing in the stock market. So that also is another part of what it is I'm trying to get done in the next couple of years. So Lisa J is here. I was just talking about Lisa J Stocks. She has me focused, and all it is she reminds me that I had a goal of building up my brokerage account, and I just never do it. I always, in 6 months, I'm going to buy this particular ETF, right? Well, 6 months goes by, I've forgotten about that ETF until next year. And, oh man, I should have bought that ETF. I meant to buy it. No. When I see Lisa J Stocks on her YouTube channel, it goes, Daryl, next week, send $100 over to Vanguard. And when that $100 gets there, buy something. So I'm starting small. I'm just doing it just like my $50 that I put every transfer Tuesday into my emergency fund. I'm now taking $100 once a month or something on a consistent basis. And hopefully it increases, but something on a consistent basis, and putting it in my Vanguard account. Now, when I get to a point where I can cut back on my teaching income, where I need less of it, I need more classes is what I need. But anyway, when I get more teaching income, I need to start putting that back into my college retirement accounts, and mostly I put it into Roth. I really love the Roth accounts. I will tell you, I never ever plan on spending that money that I have in the teachers' retirement accounts. I don't. I never plan. And the money that I'm going to invest from Social Security, because we'll go back to that for a second, because we're talking about Lisa J and stocks. That money from Social Security in a couple of years will all go directly to my Vanguard account. every month. 100% of my Social Security will go into Vanguard into high growth ETFs. And that money will just compound. That money will compound. I don't know if I'll ever spend that money, because I have set my life up that I have streams of income so that I can live, and I live very frugally. We're going to get to that in a moment. Where am I? I am at 29 minutes or so. I am going to get into my frugal lifestyle with you guys so that you guys see I don't need much. You know, I don't need a lot of money unless I'm traveling to Hawaii. Then I need a lot of money. So unless I'm traveling on vacation, which I have no limit on my spending when I'm on vacation. I don't. I want to enjoy life to the fullest. Now, am I traveling first class? No. That, again, is another future dream. I have traveled first class only one time in my history. And I was living in Saudi Arabia, working as a government contractor. See, another shift to the left, everybody. Everybody sit down for another story. I was living in Saudi Arabia, and we had to fly to England once every 3 months to get our work visa renewed. And so I'm on this British Airways jet, and my company flew me business class to England to get my work visa renewed. Well, I show up at the airport and they say, hey, you've been upgraded to first class. And this was long before 9/11. So they had the cockpit open, and they let me come up and sit in the cockpit while they were flying the plane. And I got to look out over this 747, you know, from the cockpit, you know. So that was my only time ever in first class. So I've lived a life. I have lived a very blessed life, I have to tell you. And so someday I can fly first class to Hawaii or to Dubai or wherever it is I want to go. I will be able to do that someday. Just not quite there yet. However, I do have very nice accommodations in Maui. I will say that, just so y'all know. When I go to Maui, just in case this is a once in a lifetime trip, and that's how I treat life. I treat life as a once in a lifetime thing. So I enjoy myself when I go. So yes, I have very nice accommodations in Maui when I go, and we will see. You know, I don't fly at the back of the plane. I fly 1 or 2 steps up from the back of the plane. You know, I'm sort of at that point, but I'm not quite business or first class yet. But I'm getting there. I'm working my way up through the plane. Okay, back to the story here. So we talked about my plan for the next couple of years. Pay off debt, get ready for Social Security, have my life in order like an adult, have sinking funds, have more money in my brokerage account. Not that I'll ever need it. It's a long-term investment that, you know, I hope that I don't touch for at least 10 years. Now, do I believe in that whole thing of die with zero? Yes. I want to spend my money before I die. Yes, I do. I will still have more money left over, because when your money generates more money than you can spend, you're going to be okay. That is financial freedom. When your money generates more money than you can spend. And so, thank you for typing fire, Lisa, because I want everybody to come over and check out your channel. And that's what I love about my channel, is I'm all about promoting everyone else being successful on YouTube. You know, for me, this is a retirement thing where I said, if I start a YouTube channel, I don't want to make any money on it. So I thought to myself, what can I do to start a YouTube channel and not ask people for money? Right? Because I see some YouTube channels where the people are clearly wealthy, and they're still saying, oh, I need you to buy me a coffee. I need you to, and I'm like, wait a minute. You are financially wealthy and you're asking people to like send you money. I personally couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So what I did was I said, I'll start a YouTube channel. If I ever make any money from that channel, it will go to charity, to the homeless in my community, which is cool. I'm good with that because, as you all can tell, I'm very frugal, right? And so we're going to get into, because I've wasted way too much time. I've talked a lot about my next 2-year plan, which I want you guys to hold me to that. No more buying real estate, no more rentals, pay down debt for the next couple of years, build an emergency fund or prudent reserve for my business for the next couple of years, and stop relying on lines of credit. My lines of credit work just fine. They're there in case of emergency. However, I would like to build up enough cash to match the amount that I have in lines of credit, so that, and I've never had cash, but I'm going to do that. You know, it's a shift. That's what I'm trying to say. There's a shift in my thinking, you know, as I get older. You know, I watch Life with T, 76, and she is much younger, but she already has that mature thinking about finances. And so I'm moving towards her mature thinking about finances. I don't believe in cash because I think cash is trash. That's just what I think. I think that you lose so much money to inflation that I just don't like it. Never have. However, again, I'm now in my mid-60s, so my thought process is changing. I'm not going to have a ton of cash relative to my net worth. Okay, it's not going to be a ton of cash. It's going to be like 0.05% of my net worth. I'm not, you know, going to have a ton of cash. However, all I need is a little bit to cover my rentals in case of an emergency. You know, and so I'm going to start diversifying from real estate, because I'm pretty heavy into real estate, which I don't mind. I'm totally comfortable being heavy into real estate. I really am. I'm comfortable with that. But I would like to, as I get older, diversify more into the stock market. Now, again, the stock market will never be 50% of my net worth. At best, the stock market may become 10% of my net worth. I don't know. I don't know. That's a long ways off to try and figure that part out. But what I'm trying to say in this live is that for the next 2 years, I want everyone to hold me accountable, you know, to pay off debt. I've had some spendy months. The last couple of months have been spendy, and yeah, I'm normally okay with having spendy months, like buying real estate and paying off the down payment. I'm normally okay with that, but for some reason, it's not okay now. So I want to pay this stuff off and not do it again. You know, maybe I'm just at a point where I'm like, you know, you're too old to keep doing this. And again, I want to preserve the wealth that I have, meaning I'm starting to do things that you do when you preserve wealth, which is getting different protections put into place, you know, for lawsuits and those sorts of things. I have a trust, I have a will, right? But updating those things so that your assets are protected. So asset protection is what I'm talking about. An umbrella insurance policy, I'm getting one. Those are new things that everyone should have, right? But me, again, I've been in accumulation phase, not wealth preservation phase. And an umbrella insurance policy is wealth preservation. And so that's where I'm at right now. So those are things that I'm going to buy in 2026. But I am not buying more real estate, and nobody believes me. Because if a deal comes across, you know, my email, I'm like, oh man, there's a 4-unit right there. I could get that 4-unit. All I got to do is use one of my other properties as collateral, as a down payment on that 4-unit. And I'm not out any money out of my pocket. And that's what I've done. and in order to build up my real estate portfolio. Well, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to pay off rentals. I've got a couple that are, I don't owe a lot of money on them, relatively a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I don't owe a lot of money on them relative to the other ones. And they're in separate loans by themselves. They're not like in a loan with 2 or 3 other properties. So those I'm going to pay off first. And when I get those paid off, I'm going to use that cash flow to pay off the next one and do like the Dave Ramsey snowball method with my rental properties. So take my smallest loan, pay it off, then take the money from that and pay off the next smallest rental property loan. And that's my future. That's my future with my rentals, which again increases my cash flow. So let's talk about, because I want to get into this, is why I'm waiting a couple of years to take Social Security. First, I'm going to talk about that. And then before I get out of here, I'm going to talk about this thing that I did, the short that I did a couple days ago, talking about how I spend $88.80 a month on food, right? And people have come on to my short and say, how can you do that? How is that even possible? Because Mary at Pennies Not Perfection, she's got a family of 4. And she said that she spends $300 to $400 a month. No, a week on food. So she said, how much do you spend a month? And so first I figured it out by the week, and it was $20. And I was like, I only spend $20 a week. I know I'm frugal. Okay, I know that about me. I only spend money on things that are important to me, right? And food is important. My health is important. So I eat a diet that is healthy for my A1C and for my cholesterol. I do. However, I do no food waste. And for many, many years, I think a lot of people have a lot of food that they let go bad and then they throw it away. Whether it's vegetables, fruits, whether it's stuff that they put in freezer bags and throw in the freezer, and then 6-8 months later they go, well, we never ate those leftovers, and then they throw them out, right? For whatever reason. I have zero food waste. I have just set my life up that I do not waste money, because when you throw stuff out, that's wasting money, and I don't have money to waste. That's why I don't gamble. Okay, I'll tell you all that. I don't gamble because I don't have money to lose. What they say, if you can't afford to lose, you can't afford to win. And so I've always had that philosophy, so I don't gamble. But let me talk really quick about why I'm waiting a couple more years to take Social Security. And the reason is that you can make, and this is according to the IRS, so I'm reading this from the IRS's website, but in the year that you reach full retirement age, we will deduct $1 in benefits for every $3 you earn above the different limit. So what that means is that in the year that I will turn 67, right? That's what this is talking about. Now, currently in 2025, and the limit goes up a little bit each year, so it'll be higher than this in a couple of years. But it says in 2025, I can make $62,160. Now, that is during the months from when I start becoming 67 at the beginning of that year and when my actual birthday is. Okay, so I could make $62,160 without them taking any of my money back. Currently, because my teaching income has been going down, I don't make that much, the $62,000 a year teaching right now. So I could do my full teaching amount plus get Social Security with no penalty. And once you're 67, excuse my nose with my sniffles. But once you're 67, you can earn as much as you want. So my point is that in the year that I turn 67, I am going to start Social Security, and I will be able to make all of my future money with no penalty from that point on. And that's the reason that I'm waiting. Right now, the limit is, because I'm not 67, the limit is $23,400. And if I took Social Security now, they would deduct $1 for every $2 that I earn above $23,400. So no, I'm not going to take Social Security now because I make more than $23,400 teaching. And so we don't want that. What we want is we want to maximize our money. So I've given myself this 2-year window to get my finances in order. And from, oh, hi, Marlene Motivates. Thank you for coming. So I have this 2-year plan that I'm just now unveiling on my live here, to really get my life in order, as far as I'm concerned, and really become a responsible adult. Now, can I do it in 2 years? I don't know, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try. I'm going to take every penny that's extra that's not being spent on this and spent on that to pay down debt, invest more in the stock market, and also build a savings. So some of the money goes to my Prudent Reserve, like my Transfer Tuesdays, which are $50 every time I get a paycheck. Now, that's could be 5 times a month. If I'm in 3 colleges, 2 of them pay bi-weekly. 1 of them pays only once a month. Now, the 2 that pay bi-weekly, when they're going, I get a paycheck every week. So every week I could be putting $50 into my savings account. Plus the once a month paycheck, I would put in $50, plus when my pension comes in. So that's 6 paychecks a month, 6 different pay times, when everything is rolling. And that happens a few months out of the year. So that's $300 a month into my Prudent Reserve. That's just right now. That's just the bare minimum, because I'm starting that savings muscle. That's all I'm doing. This isn't meant to be what I'll do forever. However, I'm up to $1,400 right now, last time I looked. And for me, I have to tell you guys, $1,400 in an emergency fund is the most I've ever had. I live always on the edge. I take every penny I have and I invest it. I don't save anything. I don't have nothing in my checking account every month. Everything I own gets invested because I was trying to build wealth from nothing. And so I didn't have money to let sit. I just didn't. Well, today I'm in a place where I have a little bit of money to let sit. And so I'm starting small, $50 every time some money comes in, and sometimes $100 if I'm feeling sort of generous, then $100. But now, thanks to Lisa reminding me that, I have this thing of do what you say you're going to do and be where you say you're going to be. And so because I've said I'm going to diversify into my Vanguard brokerage account, I'm now starting